Hi everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Mimeograph Monday with a twist. And I'm so excited. I'm going to be using a new stamp set that is called, what is it called? Woodland Wishes. So I believe it is it's coming in July, I believe. I can't remember now if I think it's an online exclusive. There's like catalog stuff, there's online exclusive stuff, so my mind gets all confused. So it's pretty easy for it to do that. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Diana, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. So we're going to play today with the Woodland Wishes. Is that what I said? Oh, where is it? Hang on a minute. Here it is right here. It is so cute. Look at it. It is so adorable. So that's what we're going to play with. So during the video premiere, I am in the chat room. So head on over there. I'll be there with my friends. Otherwise, if you are watching a replay and you have a question or a comment, leave it below. And then YouTube lets me know and then I can reach out to you. So if you are new, Mimeograph Monday with a twist is basically I'm going to do like a Stampin' Up's project. So this is, it could be like an online picture or from a flyer or the catalog or whatever. So I'm going to do my take on it as close as I can to how I think it was done. And then I'll do a twist on it, which will be more my taste. And this has been a really popular series and it is fun to do. So if there's ever anything that you want me to do, like you might see a sample and go, oh, could you do this one? Always ask. It doesn't mean I can do it, but always ask. There's something on my ceiling over there. And I'm like, what is that? Anyways, I'm like squirrel. Doesn't take much to get my attention. Oh, now it's gone. So maybe it was a fly. All right, so I am going to stop blabbing so I can get started because we will be doing two projects. So close your eyes for a second while I get my camera adjusted. Okay, so before we get started, I want to make sure that you know that yes, I will be doing the Fun for Fall bundle as a class in the mail for July. I had enough people interested, and so that's good because I am not doing regular class in the mail kits anymore unless there's just something that's so stinking cute that I just want to do a class with it. And this cute little stamp set just says, please do me as a class. And like I said, I sent out an email. I had asked everybody, and I got enough saying yes. So here is a little bit of information on that class. Now, I can only do classes in USA only. The class is $72, and that includes the bundle, supplies for 5 projects, a PDF with close-up pics with the supply list, priority postage, and then you'll get a private video link, and then you'll be able to make your projects along with me at your leisure. So that's included in that 72. So I do have registration open now, and it will close when I sell out. So I'm kind of close to being sold out. So just make sure that you holler at me and say, yes, I want to do that class so I can get you on the list. And then as soon as you pay, that holds your seat. So if you tell that you want to do the class and then you don't pay, then, you might not be able to do the class. So you want to pay as soon as you can. If you already have the bundle, because I do have demonstrators that take my classes. If you already have the bundle, you can just switch it out and pick something else that value, and then you'll get that with your class packet instead. And then the class packets will go out the week of July the 27th. So cute. All right. And I want to show you what the product of the month for July is. It is this really pretty begonia bell. It is so gorgeous. Look at this card here. Oh, and I have a bunch of begonias in my in all my plants and stuff. I've yet to have any flower. So I don't know if the begonias I have flower. Maybe I just haven't had them long enough. Who knows? But anyway, so this is the product of the month. Now, if you are in the United States, you have to order $75 before tax and shipping. in order to be able to get the product of the month, and it's $5. You want to make sure you put that in the cart, but it's while supplies last. So the really cute little stamp set for June ran out, so you don't want to miss out. All right, so let's get to these cards. So this is the stamp set. So it's Woodland or Woodland, however you pronounce it, Wishes. But look how cute it is. It's got these little critters and they're all stacked up and it makes a tree. Isn't that adorable? And then you've got some standalone little guys. And then some really cute sayings that have writing and printing. So you know me, I love when they mix like printing and writing together. Okay, so let's see here. So this is the card I'm going to do. So it is really cute and simple. So we have basic white thick for my card base. And the DSP that I'm using comes from a Stitched Season. So that's where you'll get the snowflake from. But this is some really cute paper. All right, so let me get that out of the way. All right. So we have our basic white thick. And this is just going to get glued. So this is some of that paper. And it's just going to get glued right here. So you won't see, you know, that card from the front. Let me get my green chip glue. Because when you cut that paper like that, so it's like right where you are going to cover it like perfectly, I like to use the green tip glue. Hang on a minute, let me get that other. I like to use the green tip glue because it allows me a little wiggle room when I'm covering this up like fully. Because usually I like to have a little border, but a lot of times Stampin' Up! Samples, they cover it so you don't see the card. Okay. But this is so cute. And it's like Secret Sea. So it's really, really dark, but it's not black. Right. All right. Then I have my little pieces here for my animals. I'm going to get my Pierce mat. So my ink is going to be, oh my gosh, what did I do with my stays on pen? Not stays on. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Oh my gosh. Like Granny would say, if it was a snake, it would have bit you. Yes, it would have. All right, so we have, I'm just using the memento. All right, so I just want to make sure. All right, so we have the bear goes on here, the fox goes on here, hedgehog, and the deer. Okay. And they just colored with the watercolor pencils. All right, so we have our cute little deer. Right on there. And the hedgehog is so adorable. Oh my gosh. So stinking cute. The little hedgehog reminds me of, oh, there was a movie. Oh, I can't remember now. They were singing. The animals were singing, and the little hedgehog was like a rocker. I want to say Pitch Perfect, but that was with those girls, wasn't it? I don't think that was a cartoon. But anyways, that little hedgehog reminds me of those little rock and roll hedgehogs from that movie. I know it was a really cute movie. I saw a couple of them. All right, and then the bear gets on here. Okay. And then there's more. Okay, so we have, let me get, this is just a piece of garden green. And I have Peaceful Pine is one of the new in colors. And it comes in that awesome magnetic pad. I cannot wait till all the pads come that way. But for now, we just have them in the in colors. All right. So I'm going to use the Christmas Cheer for all to here. So have you ordered the new in color? And do you like the new magnetic pads? All right, so Christmas Cheer for all to here. And then close. All right, so we'll let that dry. All right, and then I'm just going to use the watercolor pencils. And these come from, if I'm not mistaken, assortment 1. Yes, assortment 1. And they kept them pretty simple in regards to being colored. They used and I'm just guessing what they used. All right, so we have basic gray. So we're just going to put a little basic gray underneath them. So they have a little ground that they're standing on. Okay. And then the bear, his little snout is gray. The deer is gray. And they just colored it. Like they didn't use the blender pen or anything. They just simply colored. They left the little snout white. Okay. Then we have the little fox. And I'm going to use the pumpkin pie. So adorable. But it's so cute that they've got they have like the little critters making the tree, but then they have them like by themselves. So it's really cute. All right. And then we have the hedgehog. So I'm going to use pecan pie for the hedgehog. Okay. And then the little bear, and he is using early espresso. And I'm just kind of coloring kind of like in a circle so that I don't get like too many lines. And if you're just using like your pencils for the first time, what you kind of want to do is like you want to knock off that edge because they're, when they're new, they kind of have like a coating on them. So you kind of just want to, scribble them on like a piece of paper just to kind of get that, it's like almost like a film. And then they'll color a lot better. You won't have to press as hard. So just on a, scrap piece of paper or whatever. or your grid sheet, or it's totally up to you. All right. So there's that. Like I said, they kept it very simple. All right. And then they cut this out. They just fussy cutted this. Okay. And then they went like at an angle, you know, to kind of like go like that. All right, so there's that. And then we just need to glue these on. I'm just, since I got my green tip glue, I'm just going to use that. So some of them are glued directly to the card. And then some are popped up. So you've got your bear. We've got our deer. And then these little ones are popped up. So we have the fox. And I might not have glued it identical, so that's all right. I think he was over a little bit, but. And then the cute little hedgehog. And then your Christmas greeting will go on there as well. Not on there. There we go. So it goes like, kind of like that. So there's that one. So isn't that cute? Just really, really simple. Okay, so now let me get this mess kind of cleaned up a little bit. And so let's do my twist. For my twist, I'm going to use the big tree, the tree image. And I'm going to color it with the blends. Let me get this inked up really good here. I'm going to stand up because it's a fairly big, I mean, it's stuck on like the biggest block we have. All right, so I'm just inking it up this way so that I can kind of control where my ink goes. Okay. And then this is just going to go right in the center. And then I'm just going to hold it while I rub with one hand. Okay, there we go. So cute, right? All right. Okay. And then I'm going to let that dry. So while that is drying, let's do the inside. So I have some paper. So I'm using the same Designer Series paper. I just chose to use the holly one because there's holly on the on here. See the little holly? So I just was like, you know what? I'm going to use the holly paper. It's not too busy. And I just thought it was perfect with the tree scene. Let me pick this up. Oh my gosh, it's like stuck to the table. All right. And I'm just going to trim. And okay. So So that's going to go on the inside. I also need a little scrap. All right. Let's get my greeting here. All right, so I want sending love. So we've got our sending love. Enjoy this Christmas. And I'm going to put that on the inside. Let me get up here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. And the hedgehog was so cute that I'm putting the hedgehog in there. Cutie, cutie. Okay. And then I just need to put, so I want Mary. Hang on. I am going to use Christmas cheer, I think. So I'm just going to wash it. All right. So I want, here we go. So I want, may your Christmas be merry and bright. Okay. And then, where did I put that Christmas? Here we go. And then Christmas cheer. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own greeting out of that. Now I have a bunch of critters to color. So let's just color our little hedgehog in the inside, just so that that's done. All right, so I have a bunch of blends. Let's just dump them all so that I can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to use the light cloud cover and put a little shadow with our hedgehog. Okay, and while I have that out, I'm going to do the same with these guys. Just going to put a little shadow. And this is just going to make them pop off the card a little bit, since they're stamped right on the card. And if you're not sure like where to put your, shadow, basically, you can go all the way around them. Like, I just think, put a shadow somewhere. It just makes the stuff pop off the page. And I usually do it first while the image is nice and uncolored, so I can see better. All right, so I think that's good. All right, so let's do our little hedgehog. And I got 3, 4, and 6. All right. So I'm going to do, where is he? He's right here. All right, so I'm going to take 3, and we're going to make his little quills be kind of dark. And then we'll take 4. So the higher the number, the lighter. So I'm starting with, this is the 4. And then we'll do 6. Color him in. And I'm going to leave his little face. And then I'm going to take some of the Barely Blush. And we're going to put that there. And that way, his little face is light. But look how cute he is. Oh, he's so cute. Hello, I love you. All right, so he's so cute. All right, and then let's color these guys. So I'm just going to kind of grab my blends as I go. All right, so the first one I grabbed was daffodil. So our stars are daffodil. So I'm just finding them on the card. It's like the Where's Waldo of stars. All right, so I have those, and then I want to do on here as well a little owl. So I think I got them all. Okay. What else we got here? Let's see here. I also have, this is a hydrangea hue. So we're going to do like a weird color for our owl. But that's okay. So this is just dark hydrangea. And then we'll finish with light hydrangea. So there's not, I don't see much difference in these two colors compared to some. And then usually, like, once it soaks in, you know, you can see more of a difference then. All right, so we have pumpkin for the little beak. Let's see, I think that's, oh. All right, let's do our fox. So the fox is going to be timid tiger. So we have dark timid tiger. Which is the perfect color for our fox. Let's see. Okay, and then our light to finish it up. And then I'm going to add a little dark Cajun. Just a little bit. Just on the edges. Just so that he's got a little darker color there. And then we'll go back with our dark timid and put a little bit over top of that, and it will soften it, but it will just give us a little darker on our fox. So see that? All right, now I do want to take my dark gray granite, and because the fox's belly, you know, is white, but I don't want to not color it, so I'm just using my dark gray granite. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the belly of the dove. And did I say dark? This is light gray granite. I can't remember what I said. All right, so we have light gray granite on our bunny because he's kind of whitish. Let's see. Okay, and then our Barely Blush on our deer nose and our bear nose and our squirrel's belly. I'm also going to put a little bit on the doves because I don't want to not color them, but I want them to stay, you know, fairly light. I'm also going to put a little bit on the tail of the deer. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's my dark gray granite. So I'm going to put a little bit here and there on the bunny. Okay. Okey pokey. So like I said, I'm just kind of like grabbing the colors every which way. All right, so here is dark granny apple on our leaf. Also on our ornament. our little present underneath. So it's so cute, right? Like the bear, this is almost like the stem of the tree. But it's the little present like underneath the bear. So I'm just trying to get all my little green places. All right. And then I'll do my dark lemon lime twist to finish those. Okay. Let's get my dark poppy. So we have this cute little cardinal. This little ornament. This ornament. That on the present. And then on this ornament. Let's see. And then we'll go light poppy. This would be cute to if you have, kids that help you make Christmas cards. This would be adorable that if you were to stamp these for them and then just let them color, the little animals that they want. I think that would be so adorable. All right. I do want to take, so I have 2 and where's my 3? All right. For this pine cone. So 2 is pretty dark. And then we'll go 3. Because that's, pretty dark. All right, what am I missing? Okay, we got to color the deer. And I'm going to do golden glow for our deer. But I also want to take a little 6. Here we go. A little 6. So I'm going to take a little 6 first. Just to add a little bit of dark. Before we do our golden. All right. And it might not be that noticeable. All right. And then we have our dark golden. So it's pretty similar, but it's just a little bit different. And then our light. And I'm just kind of going over the lines just to soften the harshness of the lines. All right, so there's our cute little deer. Where is my dark gray granite? Put a little dark gray granite on his antlers there. All right, then we got to do our bear. So our bear is going to be 6 and 4. So we have 4. And I will go in and add a little dark once we get them colored. But so this is 4. And you could have them be a black bear, but I'm just having it be a brown bear. So this is 4. Around the edge. And then we'll use the 600 to color the rest of them in. Okay. I still have to do my squirrel. I don't want to forget my squirrel. But they just, like, once you start coloring them, they it just makes it look so cute. Just brings them some personality. All right, so this is 600. I'm just kind of wiggling it in there. But so I'm going to go over these lines just to soften it a little. But I am going to go in there with some 300 as well. And add some, like a little bit of fuzziness. So I'm just kind of like dabbing it on there because he's a furry bear. So he doesn't have to be like smooth. All right, and then here's my 3. So I'm going to take my 3 and I'm just going to put, see there's got these little lines on his back, which, you know, kind of emphasize that he's hairy. So I'm going to add, you know, a little bit more. So we've got our bears a little hairier. All right, let's do our squirrel. So I have Cajun. So I have dark Cajun. Okay, and then light Cajun. He's so fun. Now, some of these are kind of tiny. And then just like we did the hedgehog, I want to take the light Barely Blush for the little face. So his face isn't like really, really dark. All right. Well, how does that look? Doesn't that look cute? All right. So I think I've done all my coloring. I'm like looking, right, that I haven't forgotten anybody. I did forget the face of the owl. Excuse the noise. So I'm going to use that Barely Blush. So I'm going to put a little Barely Blush on my owl face. Okay, and then I'm going to add some gel pen, but I'm going to wait till he's glued. That way I'm not touching it with my fingers. All right, so we have our basic white thick. So just like the other card, I used basic white thick, but this time you're going to be able to see the card. I'm not going to glue, you know, the DSP like right on the card, like the Stampin' Up one. I want to have a little bit of a frame. So I'm using Old Olive, and I'm using the same, you know, holly paper that I put on the inside. So we're just going to put like a little frame around there. And then this will go on the card. Okay. Like that. Then this little guy goes on the inside. You are too cute. I just could not resist putting a little critter on the inside there. And it'd be cute to put a little critter on the envelope too. All right. So then we have this. Now this is just going to go on with dimensionals. I didn't back it with anything, just because it's a fairly big size piece. And I still wanted to see the holly. So I didn't back it with anything. But since I didn't back it with anything, I'm raising it so that it'll have a natural highlight, or you know, like where the light hits it. It almost looks like it's got a frame because of the way the light hits it. You can kind of see that shadow right there. So by raising it up, it gives you that. All right. And then I want to put some gel pen, and then I'm going to put some bling. So I have my little gel pen that I'm so excited you can get. Now, I think right now, you can't get them right now because they've run out, but more are coming. All right. So we have cute little speckles or whatever. And then I'm going to take, and we're going to put some little dots here and there. And some little lines. I'm going to emphasize this white mark on the squirrel's tail. So we're just going to you know me. I love my gel pen. Put a little white dot on that ornament. Let's see what else. Let's see. Let's take, and we're going to put a little bit here on that ornament just to make it look like it shines. And then we want to kind of like let that dry so we don't smear it. So while it's drying, I'm going to make my own little greeting. So I want the word Mary. Because you know me, I like writing and printing. So I'm going to kind of make my own little writing and printing. And then I want Christmas from this one. So I want my card to say Merry Christmas. And I'm just cutting really, really close to that. So I'm just fussy cutting. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so we have our Christmas. And I just did this with the memento. You could, you could totally use that peaceful pine as well. All right, and then this is just going to go on the front of the card. All right, so I do want to pop this up with some dimensionals, but this is pretty skinny, so I need to trim just off the edge here. Okay, but this guy's a little thicker, so he can just get that. But never waste your dimensionals. Like, you should have it all the way empty, so it's just this wax paper almost kind of stuff. All right, so we have our Merry Christmas. So let's see here. I'm going to put over. I'm going to have it kind of go off the card. And then I have Mary. There we have that cute little Merry Christmas. And I'm going to use the Dewdrops embellishments. And these come like Secret Sea, Old Olive, and then like a clear. And I'm just going to use a clear so that they kind of maybe it's like snow or whatever, but I don't want to take away from the critters by using the colored ones. So I'm just using the clear because I did want to have a little bit of bling on there, but not in your face bling. Let me use this little tiny one. Come on, baby. All right. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. But these are so cute. And what's nice about them, you have, like the 3 colors. But if you wanted a red, all you have to do is use your blend and color over top. And then you would have a red one. So, all right. Or whatever color. All right. So here is how that turned out. I think it looks so cute. And then the inside. Isn't that the cutest little Christmas card? All right, so here is the first one. So this was, Stampin' Up's version, basically, is how I think it was done. Colored with the watercolor pencils, using the same designer series paper. as this one. I just used a different pattern. I used the same stamp set, but I colored with the blends instead, just to add a little bit more fun. You know me, I could sit and color all day long, and I love these little critters. I love adding that little extra darkness to the fox so that it just, let me bring this up closer. So it just makes them have a little bit more definition to them. And then just by leaving their little faces, um, so that their little face is a little lighter. Same with the little hedgehog. I love how those turned out. All right, so let me say, see you later, alligator. I'm wearing my Hamburglar shirt. That's what I feel like when I wear this shirt. That I look like the Hamburglar from McDonald's. Do they even have that guy anymore? I remember those cookies used to be so good. Oh my gosh, those McDonald's cookies, which I'm sure if they still have them, they don't taste the same. Oh, heavens me. All right, so hopefully you like this stamp set. July 1st, I believe. You can order the July stuff. Same with that product of the month. I believe so. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm gonna stop blabbing so I can get this video uploaded. So have a great night. I will see you tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays, and that'll be 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. I'll see you then. Bye for now.